in recreating the future of this country. So this is, there's a saying, well, pardon the grossness of the statement, Dracula does not survive in sunlight. So many of these deeds of corruption are there. They're hidden. People don't know about them. So if they don't know about them, they will not feel the revulsion of what really is going on, the extent of the deception of the Filipino people. So if we make things transparent, not only through the internet, but through actual involvement of key civil society and business groups in the process, then we will create an institutionalize this process, innovation in the fight against corruption in this country. I understand the business sector has been willing, I don't know to what extent it has happened, be willing to contribute a certain amount of their gross or net income, supposedly to a coalition of businesses to fight corruption. Well, that's important. I think it's even more important for business, progressive sectors of business to actually be there and help clean out government. The business sector can bring in savvy and accounting details, auditing, which is normal part of business practice. They can spot, I know this because I worked at the PCGG before. I was impressed with people from SGB, how they can smell a transaction a mile away, in terms of the looks. So we need this kind of professionalism to deal not in terms of just generalities, but to learn in specifics and concrete about this corruption issue. Now, in addition to this, we will, with the partnership of civil society in the form of media, open a 24-hour system for those who are open 24 hours of daily reporting on terms of corruption. And then there will be a response team that will, within appropriate government agencies, that will investigate this alleged corruption. So that once it's in public, once it's action, then people know, and those violators know, that there is a new government, a very different kind of government in place. Now, part of the reform mentioned here by Alex is that we cannot, in the end, reform only institutions, but we have to reform people. We have to reform mindsets, attitudes, behaviors, because in the end, the bureaucracy is made up of people. When we say institution, it is an abstract conception of any form of collectivity, and collectivities of people, human beings. So in the end, in the process of getting rid of corruption, we have to go down there in the different bureaucracies of government and undertake the necessary culture change. That is standard practice in the business sector. My other hat is that I'm a banker with Life Bank. We've set up a microfinance initiative that reaches 250,000 people, and I know that, and we have over 1,000 staff, and I know that with a proper culture change approach, it's possible to change behavior. Now, what does this mean concretely? In terms of going beyond even programs, activities, what it means is that after we do an overall programming in the agency about the importance of getting rid of corruption, we will encourage people to participate and actually identify the norms that have to be changed and what actual behavior detail we will actually do to change the norm. And they will be then rated. You will have an incentive package for government officials that are connected to their benefits in connection to what degree they meet the norms that they have established by themselves. This is very effective because for all people, you don't like to be top down, right? So if you do a participatory process in government and help define together what are the acceptable norms and behavior, that will then flow into the benefits package of government officials, incentive package, and promotion package, then it becomes very clear that there's a new pressure to actually perform differently. one of the laws that I'm going to pay particular attention to is the ethical standards law. And there's a provision there which is totally neglected. It's called the 15-day provision. It's one of the most important provisions. And I personally helped to craft that law when I was a consultant at the Senate. That's why I know about it. I was the one who introduced the provision. When Senator Sadista was the major author. And the reason why I put it there was because when I was with PCGG and we were investigating corruption, including the corruption of the Bataan nuclear power plant of $40 million, we were stonewalled by the bureaucracy. We would request for information, they would not act on it. They would stonewall until we would have to get President Aquino to write a letter to the head of the agency if you don't respond. You know. So this one has been institutionalized, it's not paid attention. What it says is that anybody who is being basically manipulated by government for potential corruption reasons, they can sue the government official within 15 days if there's no action. And there's no meaningful action for that. So it will constitute a prima facie evidence against corruption. I know I see him standing here on my left side, is to say I'm nearing my end. On the services side, I am going to institute another innovation that has not been done by any presidential candidate in the past and today. And this is, I will mainstream the thousands of positive innovations all over. I don't care too much about whether it's a good innovation from somebody I don't like, as long as it's good, it's going to be accepted. But there are thousands of citizens' innovations in the area of education, in health, in water sanitation, in ecology, and so on. Just to give an example, in health, there are civil society organizations providing comprehensive health care for 200, 400 pesos screening for the poor, which includes bottomless consultations with a doctor and a tertiary treatment of surgery. So this is self-sustaining. What this means is that we will identify throughout the country initiatives in the areas of corruption, judicial reform, some of these issues, the services, and so on, that have the capacity, if mainstream and really supported strategically, to actually transform our system. In this way, we're going to use the collective intelligence and creativity of the nation itself to solve these problems. The task of corruption and governance, as I said in the beginning, is not the task of one person. It's the task of every Filipino who loves this country. 2010 is not going to be an ordinary election. That's why I'm really glad for this forum, and especially the format as it was announced, because we need to take a closer look at not only the vision, the platform of a candidate, but the track record. This is important because if one candidate all of a sudden is in love with eradicating poverty, it's not done nothing in the past for that, then you know it's a political slogan. So we should take a look at the track record of candidates when we elect and make 2010 the most conscious election we've ever had as a nation, because our future is at stake. Thank you.